My first memory. A dog bites me. On the arm. Not hard, but just enough to jar me into consciousness. His name is Shiro, which means white, or castle, or generation in Japanese, depending on how it is written. Shiro has long white hair, blue eyes, and a grayish-pink nose. I am 3 years old, and he is just above my height, but I can still look him in the eyes. I believe we understand each other, our arrangement. I believe, at age 3, I've earned his subservience. He carries himself proudly, majestic, like a horse. So one day, when no one else is around, in the backyard, beside the cinder block fence, as he lowers his head to drink from a shiny porcelain bowl of water, I try to mount him. He growls and bites me. He doesn't frighten me. He embarrasses me, shames me. And as a small child, an only child, accustomed to endless doting, I wouldn't tolerate these strange emotions. I cry and run to my mother. I don't tell her why I'm crying. I'm afraid that if I tell her, she'll scold me worse than the dog did. Shiro is not to be ridden like a horse. Shiro was my Oba-san's dog. Oba, my grandmother, my mother's mother, found Shiro when he was still a puppy, eyes closed, curled up into a ball, quivering on a pile of garbage. Often at night, Oba pushed a cart through the streets of Kadena, a town located on the island of Okinawa, where my mother was born and raised, where I lived for 6 months when I was 3 years old. Often at night, when the air thinned and cooled, when the sounds of jets, helicopters, and gunfire coming from the nearby military bases quieted, Oba pushed a cart through the streets and rummaged through trash heaps, searching for cans and bottles to sell, scraps of wood and metal to reuse. She lived in a house with a rusted tin roof, a rusted tin gate, a floor raised from the mud by cinder blocks, with a single room for cooking, eating, drinking, sleeping, and playing cards, a backyard for bathing and growing sweet potatoes, which she ate for every meal. She lived almost all her life in this house, the house where my mother grew up, the house my grandfather built after their previous house was destroyed during the battle. The Battle of Okinawa. That is how most of us have heard of Okinawa, but as a battle fought and won, and quickly disregarded. Not as a battle on which our entire contemporary history depends, from which we are still recovering. It began in April of 1945 and lasted 82 days. In Japanese, the battle is referred to as Tetsu no Ame. In English, the phrase means rain of steel. The Okinawans simply refer to it as Okinawa no Sensho, Okinawan War. Although a conquered nation for many centuries, first as a tributary of China, then as a colony of Japan, Okinawa has never known such carnage. For 82 days, thousands of planes dropped hundreds of thousands of bombs on the island, crushing and burning countless creatures, plants, houses, and buildings. For 82 days, hundreds of thousands of troops invaded the island, wielding tanks and guns, throwing grenades and shooting into hiding places. 140,000 Okinawans, a third of the population, were killed. That does not account for all those who died of injury, illness, starvation after the battle. That does not account for all those who were forced to commit suicide. Of those killed, some were conscripted soldiers called boetai, boys as young as 12, ordered to fight in the front lines. Some were nurses or members of relief teams called gyutai, girls as young as 14, ordered to cook and tend to the wounded. The rest were civilians. 120,000 civilians, who died in a war they didn't choose, sacrificed to protect Japan, the precious mainland. Many Okinawans believe that those who died had died in vain, or rather what they refer to as a dog's death, inujini.